Dugdale.
Yesterday, the First Minister and I met with Brendan Cox, the husband of Jo Cox. And at that meeting, the First Minister rightly agreed that there is no place for abuse of any kind in our political debate. A few weeks ago, a prominent internet blogger said of Oliver Mundell, a member of this Parliament, that he is the sort of public speaker that makes you wish his dad had embraced his homosexuality sooner. Does the First Minister agree with me that there is absolutely no place in society for homophobia like this?
First Minister.
Yes, of course I do. And for Kezia Dugdale to get up here, and I'm being serious about this, and suggest that in any way, shape or form I would condone homophobia, I think is deeply unfortunate. I think on these issues, and it was indeed the kind of issue we were all discussing with Brendan Cox yesterday, all of us should make very clear that that kind of language, any form of abuse of any minority or indeed of any politician of that nature is completely unacceptable. I see abuse on a daily basis being hurled at me, at my colleagues, at people on my side of the political spectrum, and I don't hold Kezia Dugdale personally responsible for that. So we should all join together and say that that kind of abuse is unacceptable, and at least have this as an issue on which we have consensus and not division.
Kezia Dugdale.
I very much welcome that response for the First Minister. And of course, this was a remark posted on Twitter by Stuart Campbell, who writes for the website Wings Over Scotland. In the Daily Record, I called out Mr Campbell for his homophobic comment. People should listen to this if they're serious about tackling homophobia and abuse in all of its forms. Mr Campbell has written to me via his lawyer to demand a £10,000 payment for, and I quote, damage to reputation. Presiding Officer, I stand firmly by my comment. I've never kowtowed to a bully, and I will not start today. There is a catalogue of evidence that demonstrates the bile which Stuart Campbell appears to believe is acceptable. So given we are in a general election campaign, will the First Minister today condemn Wings Over Scotland and anyone else who poisons the political debate in our country?
First Minister.
I just have condemned anybody who indulges in that kind of language or that kind of abuse. I am not responsible for Stuart Campbell any more than Kezia Dugdale is responsible for people who hurl abuse at me in the name of being a supporter of the Labour Party. But you know what, Presiding Officer? Let's cut to the chase about what is going on here. Kezia Dugdale is asking me about this today because she hopes it means I won't be able to remind her that her colleagues in Aberdeen yesterday voted for a Tory administration there. So I think what we're seeing here today is a bit of a political smokescreen. So let me put it beyond any doubt. I condemn anybody who hurls abuse on social media or anywhere else, and all of us should do that. The abuse I see directed at me on a daily basis would make somebody's hair curl, and some of it does come from people professing to be supporters of Kezia Dugdale's party. I do not hold her personally responsible for that. I think we should all accept that there are people out there who will do that, and we should all unite in condemning it.
Kezia Dugdale.
Presiding Officer, when my colleagues do something I disagree with, I take action. I'm asking the First Minister to do the same. She might want to wait a wee second. The comment from Wings Over Scotland was published by an individual who not only distorts our political debate, but regularly spouts hatred. Yet SNP politicians continue to positively engage with him and alert their followers to his beliefs. There are a few SNP politicians who have called him out, but 44% of SNP MSPs and 50% of SNP MPs have actively encouraged him along. I have the list here, and it includes 10 government ministers, the Finance Secretary, the Justice Secretary and the Transport Minister. Social media can be a force for good. But as leaders, we have a duty to stand up when it becomes an outlet for aggression, intolerance and hatred. So I want to ask the First Minister a clear yes or no question. Will she today order her politicians and her own ministers to denounce and shun Wings Over Scotland once and for all?
First Minister.
I follow thousands of people on Twitter, and I am followed by hundreds of thousands of people on Twitter. Is Kezia Dugdale really trying to say, if I was to go through Kezia Dugdale's tweets or the tweets of members of her group or members of her party, and I came up with retweets that were somehow unsavoury in some way, is she really saying that she would hold herself personally responsible for that? This is absolutely ridiculous line of questioning, Presiding Officer. I unequivocally condemn abuse of any kind. I've got a list here of abuse that's been hurled by me by many people who are now Tory councillors in Scotland. I've had abuse from people who have been members of the Labour Party. I've been called a fascist and a Nazi, or my party has, by Ian Smart, who was a senior member of the Labour Party, and I didn't hold Kezia Dugdale responsible. Let's cut to the chase here. This is a smokescreen being erected by Kezia Dugdale today, because her party is in disarray, it is in civil war, it is in meltdown, and as leader of the party, she's directing this at me to hide one simple fact. As leader of the Scottish Labour Party, she is not in control of her own party because she can't stop her councillors going into coalition with Tories up and down the country. That's why she's asking about this today, as a smokescreen to protect herself against the state of her own party.